What's up guys, John here and welcome back to John Moon Studios. In this week's video we're going to be talking about the CAGED system for guitar, so let's get right to it. Alright, so the CAGED system is very easy to understand, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what the letters in CAGED actually means. So they mean the open chords that we play up on the top of the neck. Open chords meaning we use open strings. So the first letter is C, so we have a C major chord. Then we have A major. Then we have G major. Then we have E major. And then we have D major. Right? So now let's go ahead and see how this works. Let's just take C major to start. So C major is already in the C CAGED position, right? Because we're already using the C major shape. So now we're just going to go ahead and skip the letter C and go to the letter A. So A major looks like this in its open position. But we want to use the C major chord in the A CAGED position. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the relationship between the fingers we're holding and the open string that's the root of the chord. So in A major, if we move this up a half step, we know that this fifth string is open. We're going to slide it up a half step, meaning that now the fifth string won't be open, but we got to put our first finger down on the first fret. And now we see that the open A position is actually a root, a chord with a root in the bottom. So now what we need to do is we need to put C on that root. So we know that C is on the third fret here, and we're going to use that A major position. And there we have a C major chord. So we have the C position in CAGED, and now we have the A position in CAGED. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the G CAGED position. So let's take a look at the G major chord for a second. We need to analyze how far away that open position is from our fingers in the G major position. So we have a G major chord, and if we count from the root note, which is the lowest note of the chord, 1, 2, 3, the open position is 3 frets away from that. So what we need to do is we need to find a note C on the 6th string root where the open position is going to be 1, 2, 3 frets apart. So we're going to find C on the 6th string. So C on the 6th string is on the 8th fret. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and count our 3 frets back. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be our new open position. So we need to rearrange our fingers here in order to accommodate that new position. So I'm going to go ahead and put my pinky, my third finger, and then I'm going to bar across the other open strings. And we have a G CAGED position but playing a C major chord. We can also add in the pinky. It's going to be quite of a stretch. We can rearrange it where we have our third, second, bar with the first, and then our pinky down here kind of like in that G position here, but we're going to bar it because we need that open string. So, and there we have our G CAGED position using C major chord. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next letter. We have E major. So we've done C, A, G. Now we're going to E. And we know that E major is going to be our open 6th string. And then we have this position here to make the E major chord. So we have B on the 5th string, E on the 4th string, and G sharp in our 3rd string, and then the rest is open. So now we need to look at the relationship between the strings, the frets we're holding, and then the open strings below that. So if we move this up a half step, we know that now the rooted note is going to be right here. So it looks like this. Now what we need to do is find the root C on the 6th string where I can put this E position, CAGED position, and I could put that root note to be C. And again, it's found on the 8th fret. Right here. And then I can go ahead and bar across the entire 6 strings, because remember when I play the E, I play the open 2nd and 1st. So if I move it over a half step, I now need to bar across the entire 6 strings. So I'm going to do the same thing here, and there I have my C major chord. Alright, so one thing to keep in mind that's a good little trick to know is from the CAGED system, C and A and G and E share the same root, right? So what I mean is they actually share the same note. They're right next to each other. So in the C CAGED position, we have the C here, and our root is on the 5th string. When we switch to the A position in the CAGED system, we're going to keep that same root but rearrange it so we're playing an A position, but keeping that C major chord. So notice how we have the C still rooted there. Same thing goes for the G and the E CAGED position. If we move our fingers here to the G CAGED position, we have, and then we can keep that root and create the E CAGED position for our C major. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about our D CAGED position, which is our final position here. So we need to look at D major. So here we have D major in the open position. And now we're going to move it up a half step. We know that our 4th string is the one carrying the open. So if we move it up a half step, our new rooted note is going to show up here on the 1st fret of the 4th string. So we rearrange our fingers, and this is now a movable shape. So now we need to find where C is on that open 4th string. So we're going to go ahead and do a little trick in case you don't know or you can't find it quick where that C is on the 4th string. We're going to go to a note we already know, which is C on the 6th string. And we're going to do the little octave trick. So we're going to go down 2 strings, 1, 2, and then we're going to go across or up 2 frets. So 1, 2, and there is your C. So they're octaves here. So there's our C on the 4th string. And now we know that the position of the open to our fingers is 2 frets away. So we have 1 and then open from our 2nd finger here. So now when we move it over, we know that we need to have 1, 2, and there is our root. So if C is here, we got to go 1, 2, and then we place our position here of the D CAGED system, and there is our C major chord. Alright, so let's go through the positions one more time. Here we have the C in the CAGED system. Here we have the A position in the CAGED system. Next we have the G position in the CAGED system. Next we have the E position in the CAGED system. And now the last one we have is the D position in the CAGED system. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one more example using a different chord since we haven't really shown the C position in the CAGED system. I'm going to go ahead and start on the 2nd letter, which is A. So here we have the A position in the CAGED system, which in the open position is just A. Now we're going to go ahead and move that A root into the G CAGED position, so we know it needs to be on the 6th string. Right, and we are 3 frets away because in the G major position we're 1, 2, 3 frets away from the root. So we need to get that root and go 1, 2, 3. There's our open, and then we can play our A major using the G CAGED system. You can go ahead and add the pinky up here if you want. Next we're going to move on to our E CAGED position. So remember that G and E share the same root. So if we move our 1st finger to the A instead of the 3rd finger and then do our E major position, here we have our A major shape. And now we're going to go and move to our D position. So we know that doing the octave trick, we go down 2 strings and then across or up 2 frets. Here we have our A. We have octaves here. And now we do our D CAGED position. So that is 2 frets, 1, 2. Our 2nd finger is going to go there. And here we have our A major chord. Now we're going to go ahead and find the C CAGED, right? Because we didn't really do it last time because C was already rooted in the open position. Now we're going to go ahead and move this A. So here we have A again. Now we're going to go ahead and find the A on the 5th string, right? Because when we play the C major chord, the root is found on the 5th string here. So how far away is it from the open? So we go 1, 2, 3. So we got to find an A on the 5th string and the open position, which is 3 frets away from that. So here's our A on the 12th fret of the 5th string. We're going to go ahead and place our fingers like if we were playing a C major chord. And we know that the open position was 1, 2, and 3. So here's our open position. This is where we need to bar our first finger, and then you rearrange your fingers so you can play that A chord, A major chord. So here's what it sounds like. See how it kind of looks like a C major chord? If I bring all these fingers down, we have a C major chord. All I'm doing is if I move a half step up, putting that first finger down, and now it's a movable position in the CAGED system. So here we have our A major again. And then of course it repeats back to where we started. So we started on A, the A position, and now here we have our A position again on the open string. But of course we're on the 12th fret, so we gotta place that root down. If you found the information of this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly videos. If you have any questions or concerns throughout the video, please drop your comments down below and I will get to them as soon as possible. If you want to see more content like this, please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to share with your musician friends. I will see you all soon.